I'm Debbie Bell-Hosking for FinextraTV here at Sibos in London, and we're heading towards the end of the first day of the conference. I'm talking to Martin Fiddaman of Natwest. Hello, Martin.
Hi.
We're talking correspondent banking.
Yes.
What would you say are the key drivers in correspondent banking?
It's a great question. Probably three things. I think one has to talk about connectivity, about regulation and customer. Connectivity, lots of schemes, lots of systems, lots of propositions, lots of people doing lots of different things. So as the community grows, then there's a danger that gets out of hand. However, there's a lot going on also to bring that back together. Standards, everyone's thinking about ISO 20022, which will bring the community much closer together. API technology is here. There's lots of people with a lot of use cases here this week using API connectivity as a new channel to connect people. Open banking is here, PSD2 is here, so people are already thinking about how third parties come together and join. So connectivity is both a threat and a challenge. Regulation, we can't talk about anything in this industry without talking about regulation at the moment. Again, it depends which part of the world you come from. Some regulators are just playing catch up because the industry is moving so fast. Some regulators are very engaged, and some regulators really are at the leading end. In the UK, we have a regulator, the payment systems regulator, who's actually probably at the cutting edge of trying to drive innovation, trying to drive competition, all with the end customer in mind. Lots of interesting things happening in the UK infrastructure. We're looking at new real-time gross settlement systems. We're looking at how we reinvent ourselves for high-value payment systems. We're looking at low-value payment systems as part of the new payments architecture. And actually, low payments could reach a new ceiling at some point in the near future of 20 million, which is not so low. So a lot happening with the regulator driving that change, all with the customer in mind, and that's probably the third bit. So customers want immediacy, they want it now, they want flexibility, they want optionality, they want security, they want resilience. So all of that is driving banks to not only get the basics right, but come up with innovative new ways of doing things, which is one of the reasons of bringing this community together this week, is actually to find out and understand where the market's heading and what people are doing.
And that shows that there's a lot happening in the correspondent banking community.
Yes.
Natwest, as Natwest, what are you doing now in response to that?
Okay, so super excited that we are bringing some new innovative ideas to the market. One of those is around API. So we've launched our new API solution for banks this week. The first of the big UK clearing banks to do that, so very proud to be able to do that. That's a cloud-hosted, bank-to-bank, ISO 20022 standard connectivity, which allows for immediacy, which allows for flexibility, which allows for scalability, which allows for true 24/7, all of those things we talked about before that the regulator is driving and customers are demanding. So that's one area we're looking at, which is really good. This week we've announced a collaboration with FeatureSpace. They are a technology company that are working with us in order to deliver risk management and fraud, data analytics, AI-driven tools to help us manage risk much better. That's available to all our customers, not just the correspondent banking customers. And also we've recently launched Pay It, which is a online and mobile peer-to-peer or peer-to-merchant solution, which actually takes out the need for a debit or a credit card. So it's bank to bank. So sort of three things which we're launching this week. Come to the stand between 2 and 3 every day for our discovery hour, or come to the discovery zone. We have a hub on the discovery zone where customers can look into some of those solutions in a lot more detail.
So there's been a lot of change.
Yes.
Let's look to the future now.
Yeah.
What should the correspondent banking community be thinking about in the look ahead?
Well, I think those three things we mentioned before are pretty critical. Think about connectivity, think about regulation, think about customer. And as that community and that ecosystem in that community starts to evolve, then I think there's some choices for investment to make. The first one is around platform. At the moment, NatWest is in the middle of a payments transformation, so we're looking to re-platform to make sure that we're fit to deliver into all of those regulatory things that we talked about before, and also leverage some of that regulatory spend to be able to enhance that for some of our customer bases. That platform gives you the connectivity. So I think all banks need to think really hard about what is the platform that they want that underlines and underpins all of their propositions to make sure that you have that connectivity. Then there's some investment choices to make on top in terms of technologies. So what technologies does one employ in order to remain fit for purpose and go forward? It could be you build it yourself within the bank. It could be where you find a provider to provide a solution for you. It could be a collaboration between bank and fintech. I think the answer is not any one or the above. It could be a cocktail of all of the above for different solutions. But I think the smart banks will look at all and every solution and give themselves optionality for the future. So core platform critical, but optionality around the technologies that sit on top of that.
So a lot to think about both now and looking ahead.
Huge amounts to think about. I mean, I've been in this industry now for 30 plus years, and the pace of change and the amount of change is bigger than I've experienced in my whole career. So anybody getting into the business right now, it's a super exciting place to be, because you can really get involved and help lead and shape what the future of that industry looks like.
Well, Martin, thank you for your time on such a busy conference.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.